Tonight, the main power generator suffered catastrophic failure resulting in power rationing. 20 years of the regional assistance mission to the Solomon Islands. And 2 Niue High School students on their way to the Caribbean for the Commonwealth Youth Games. Good evening, I'm Soraya Mangawa and this is your BCN News. Leading our news tonight, in 2019, Niue became a member of the Asian Development Bank, and on Monday afternoon this week, the office of the Asian Development Bank was officially opened at the Commercial Center in central Lofi. A team of 3 from the Asian Development Bank officials arrived for the opening, including the Director General Pacific Department, Leah Gutierrez, and here's more on this story with Esther Bavehi.
The opening of the Asian Development Bank office was attended by Premier Dalton Tagilangi, Ministers of Cabinet, diplomats representing New Zealand and Australia, and heads of government agencies. In her address, Ms. Gutierrez said that since Niue became a member of the ADB in 2019, they have committed public sector grants and technical assistance totaling $4.3 million.
Today's opening is symbolic of ADB's commitment to Niue, and we look forward to more closely and effectively working with government to strengthen the foundation of our partnership. The office is administered by our coordination officer, Angela Tuhipa, who I'm sure we all know, with support from our regional office in Suva, Fiji. Our physical presence broadens the opportunity to provide more effective support for Niue's development needs, and allows us to better align our programs to those of the government and development partners, all of you here this afternoon.
Ms. Gutierrez spoke about the assistance provided by the Asian Development Bank to Niue in the energy sector and also the public service technical assistance, announcing a $700,000 project to help Niue achieve its renewable energy goals.
In 2022, ADB commenced its assessment of Niue's electricity system and energy sector plans to validate and make recommendations for ADB's engagement in the energy sector. We are pleased to mention that ADB secured the funding of $0.7 million from US dollars from the Ireland Trust Fund for a project that will work with government and Niue's development partners, including New Zealand, to help Niue meet its renewable energy target of 80% by 2025.
Premier Dalton Tagilangi spoke about the background to Niue joining the Asian Development Bank. He expressed his gratitude, that of the government and of the people of Niue, to the assistance from the Asian Development Bank, including the construction of a COVID isolation unit at the Niue Full Hospital.
I am honoured because I did request to have an office here in Niue because of our new membership and what we wanted to know and learn about the mechanics of ADB. The support is there and we're very appreciative for our membership. It's just a matter of us having further understanding of how the ADB works, and that's the whole purpose that we wanted this office here in Niue. We have read a lot as governors, but we still don't really understand the nitty-gritty, especially the support and so forth. Let me say thank you very much for your support during COVID. You will visit, and thank you for allowing us to build ourselves an isolation unit using that funding that was available to us. I think it's one of the small little isolation unit that I'm proud of as part of our Niue hospital that will also support the intensive care unit that we have, which you will visit this week and see it firsthand. So thank you very much.
Ms. Leah Gutierrez also spoke of the Asian Development Bank scaling up assistance towards combating climate change in the Asia-Pacific region, as well as technical assistance available to support Niue in terms of strategic reviews and feasibility studies in priority areas such as health, education, and social protection.
For Niue, ADB is also pleased to discuss options for expanding climate change support, including through technical assistance. ADB is scaling up to address climate change, disaster risks, and environmental degradation. In fact, we are elevating our ambition to $100 billion across the Asian Pacific region for climate financing to its member countries for the period 2019 to 2030. We have available technical assistance resources to support national strategy reviews, scoping and feasibility studies in priority areas for health, education, and social protection.
The team from the Asian Development Bank will depart the island on Monday next week. Mrs. Angela Tuhipa will be managing the office of the Asian Development Bank on the island as the coordinator of ADB.
The reason for the power outage yesterday was due to a catastrophic failure of the prime generator that Niue Power had rented from New Zealand. Minister of Infrastructure Honourable Crossley Tatui, in a statement to BCN News, said arrangements are in place for TerraCat engineers to come over and assess the damage properly. In the meantime, Director of Utilities at Niue Power, Clinton Chapman, is calling on the public to help minimize the load by using power conservatively while they work on flying up a replacement generator. Chapman said that the power from Kaho to Hakupu will be turned off tonight if the load is not reduced during peak hour 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. tonight. Other areas will also be on standby. Please be alert in case the power goes off.
The Director of Utilities, Clinton Chapman, explained that a failure of internal engine components caused the major damage to the rented or rental generator. Niue Power is now using 2 of the older generators, which are of much smaller capacity, even with both working to charge the battery energy system. Chapman said that the damaged rented generator is able to meet the whole island's power load, but the island power load over the last year has increased markedly, so the 2 older generators are undersized. He says that is why they are asking users on the island to conserve power so as to reduce the island load and to avoid rationing. Minister Crossley Tatui in a statement said it is most unfortunate the damage is uncontrollable and unfortunate. Minister Tatui said that TerraCat Company are equally perplexed by the incident and are working closely with the manufacturer. In the meantime, Director Clinton Chapman said they are working with their overseas partners and the New Zealand High Commission to secure and fly up a replacement generator. Work is also continuing on the completion of the new power station, which houses 2 new 1 megawatt generators. This is still a few months from completion. Chapman said that the department is grateful to the people on the island for their efforts to minimize the use of power at this time as they try to resolve the situation. Niue Power have also asked that those premises with standby generators that they be switched on during peak hours 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. to help ease the load.
This week marks 20 years of the regional assistance mission to the Solomon Islands, when 8 Niue police officers to serve as peacekeeping officers during a period of civil unrest went to the Solomon Islands. The Australia-New Zealand-led regional peacekeeping mission included 15 countries contributing to personnel to the mission in partnership with Solomon Islands, including Australia, Cook Islands, Federated States of Micronesia, Fiji, Kiribati, Nauru, New Zealand, Niue, Palau, Papua New Guinea, Republic of Marshall Islands, Samoa, Tonga, Tuvalu, and Vanuatu. After 14 years restoring stability, peace and security in the Solomon Islands, Ramsey concluded in June 2017. Here's Esther Pavihi with more.
The 8 officers from the Niue Police deployed to Ramsey include former Chief of Police Tony Edwards, Greg Harding, Justin Mokoia, Albert Tasmania, Cecilia Pulheloto, Narita Viliamu Tahenga, Trina Kayuha and Stuart Siakifilo. BCN spoke to former police officer Greg Harding about being part of Ramsey. Greg Harding is now working with the Fisheries Agency.
We left here in October to do our pre-deployment training in Canberra, in Majura. Pre-deployment training is to prepare yourself both physically and mentally to, if able, to stand the conditions and environment in the Solomon Islands. And if you do fail, you got to be sent home. Unfortunately, that one of our colleagues from Fiji did not pass that test, and he was sad moment to see him leave that mission. So in Australia, we were taught all sorts, so right up to changing a tyre off a four-wheel drive, all the part of deployment training, medical training, and a lot of training. To be deployed, there was a lot of thoughts on the mind, family at home, but more important, like me and Edwards were the first Niuean officers to be deployed since the World War. So that was like a huge milestone in both of our careers, and even for this island. I think, as one matua stated at our farewelling at the Millennium Hall, that Niue had contributed 95% to the wider into the mission of Ramsey, because due to the size in our police force. So me and Edwards, Tony, I like to say, were deployed into the Solomons, knowing what was to be expected, the conditions, because of what we had been taught in the Solomons. But prior to be deployed to the Solomons, in November 2006, Tonga had the riots. So we were put us. We'll go to Tonga, because Tonga, we're closer to Tonga, and it'll be good. But no, that wasn't part of the objective of the mission. So we left for the Solomon Islands in November 2006.
In 2014, one of 3 female constables who joined Ramsey, Constable Trina Kayuha, left for pre-deployment training in Australia and spent 1 year in the Solomon Islands. She tells BCN News about her experience and her duties, which included working with the Criminal Investigation Unit and security and protection of the Solomon Islands Prime Minister Manasseh Sogavare.
It was a whole different environment, so it was just like that, what am I looking at, what I'm going to do, or it's that uncertainty, but at the same time exciting as well. The first 3 months I was at base, so I was just doing security checks, and that's with base, which is Ramsey Base, and also Rove, main headquarters of Solomon Islands. And then after that, after the 3 months, I was transferred over to CID at Henderson, G-Prof, so they look after most of Solomon Islands. And then after that 6 to 7 months, then I was transferred over to CPP, which is close protection, looking after Marana Ball, Circa 5E.
In a statement to BCN News, Tony Edwards said that prior to Ramsey, the situation in the Solomons was a state of anarchy, with no proper rule of law, largely dysfunctional and corrupted institutions of government, a collapsed economy, and people living in fear and insecurity. He says that if you compare the situation then to now, then we can all agree without a shred of doubt that Ramsey has been a great success, said former Chief of Police Tony Edwards. Tony Edwards served 2 tours to the Solomon Islands, first in 2006 and returned in 2009. For Greg Harding, who joined Ramsey in 2006, he said communicating with his family was not as easy as it is now, but he was grateful to his wife Lisa, who took care of their young boys then. One was only 4 months old when he first deployed. Greg Harding said that he is thankful for the opportunity to be part of Ramsey and is hopeful that peace and security will continue in the region.
I'm thankful that the Niue, our government at the time, agreed on having our officers from Niue deployed into Ramsey under that agreement by the forum and their leaders at the time. As an enforcement officer, I know that we do have our own issues in our Pacific and in our own island countries. Hopefully if we better communicate and better police our own communities where we live in, I think we can all live together.
In a statement to BCN News, Australia's High Commissioner to Niue, Her Excellency Louise Allerton, said that the Ramsey, or Regional Assistance Mission to Solomon Islands, also known as Operation Help and Friend, stands as a testament to Pacific cooperation. High Commissioner Allerton, in her statement, acknowledged Niue's contribution to Ramsey and thanked the individuals who served in the Solomon Islands. Of the 8 officers who served, 1 did not return. 23-year-old Constable Cecilia Pulheloto of Tamakautonga tragically perished along with 73 other people in the sinking of MV Princess Ashika in August of 2009 while she was on leave from Ramsey. For Constable Trina Kayuha, her experience with Ramsey has helped her in her career.
Yeah, thank you too much. Thank you, Olketa, for time him given, time him interviewed this time, the time me Blow Solomon lo waka. Him experienced too much, very happy, and me like him too much next time, yeah, by go Lo Solomon.
An update on the road upgrade project. The contractor China Railway First Group yesterday started laying the prime coating to the road at Hakupu. The public are asked to avoid using the parts of the roads in Hakupu that are undergoing road works.
The laying of the asphalt was scheduled to begin today, but has been postponed because of wet weather. According to the Ministry of Infrastructure, while this part of the road project is underway, there will be traffic controls in place and for road users to be careful and limit speed to 20 kilometers per hour on these parts of the road. The road works will start from Hakupu and move towards Avasale, but the progress of these works will depend on the weather.
The National Geographic Pristine Seas crew returned to the island on Monday this week since they departed on their expedition to Ridge Reef last week. A special takala was done upon their arrival at Sir Robert's Wharf to welcome the crew ashore. A special presentation took place this evening at Scenic Matavai Resort to present the final results of the expedition here to Niue. Here's more on this story. Over the course of their journey last week, a local marine conservationist, Janam Hopotoa, was able to post updates on social media reels of the expedition at Ridge Reef. Here was the latest from their work last week, Friday.
So we were able to do some beautiful manto-tows along the reef, which span for about 300 meters from the passage going north and another 300 meters from the passage going south. We saw some beautiful coverage of sea urchins, clams, and you name it, all the beautiful marine life that you can see on a very super healthy, wonderful, thriving reef. We were also privileged to come back and witness a epic moment and history in the making of seeing the first ever Niuean Brendan Pasisi go in a submarine and for the first time ever here at Ridge Reef as well do a submarine dive which was down to 150 meters just over an hour and resurfaced.
Janam says it has been an opportunity of a lifetime to be on board the MV Argo research vessel representing Niue and working together with the National Geographic Pristine Seas crew.
We also managed to do some shark tagging in the morning and also in the afternoon. With the Epic Shark Tagging team, we deployed the long line with some snoots and some fresh bait that we were able to obtain for the shark tagging. And also from there, the following day, we were able to do a snorkel and a bit of an exploration mission out to find a wreck. But upon going out to sea, it was a bit rough, and also the area where we thought the wreck would be, the wreck wasn't there, so we had to fly the drone up and have a look and see if any of the remaining parts would have drifted alongside, either to the left or right of the area. And then we had to come back to the ship to do another drone reconnaissance mission. Later on that afternoon, we were able to set up the Aqualink, which is a device that measures temperature, waves, and many other super awesome stuff wirelessly, and we'll send that information to the satellites and we can monitor that from back home. So we were able to set that up with some epic scientists and experts on board before going out to sea and deploying it in an area that is sheltered and that has less activity or less likely be an area where yachts or vessels will come in and anchor or moor to. So that was super epic.
The crew are currently back on island, and a special presentation of the National Geographic Pristine Seas second expedition back to Niue took place this evening at Scenic Matavai Resort. The team will be departing the island next week, Monday. Since the soft opening of the Niue waste management and recycling plant last year in October, there has been question on its inactivity and progress going ahead. However, BCN News was able to speak with Australia High Commission to Niue, Louise Allerton, where she updated the plans ahead in progressing the use of the facility. Here's more on this story. BCN News spoke with Australia High Commissioner Her Excellency Louise Allerton last Thursday, who provided an update on the progress of the facility. Louise said that some of the major plans that were meant to take place earlier this year for the plant were postponed due to the general elections.
I've had some really positive discussions with the Minister for Natural Resources, Honourable Mana Anu. The waste facility has shifted over to her portfolio and is now sitting with Environment. And so I think that's a really positive step, and I've had some really positive updates from her just earlier this week. So I know her team's been busy clearing out and setting up some of that equipment. So I think, with the election, things paused for a bit and there was a limit to how much I could push. But all the indications I have from her is the government remains very committed to that project and getting that facility up and running. So like you and like many people, really look forward to being able to open it to the public and start processing our waste through that facility. I also know there's a couple of other projects that are coming on board that are looking at waste management. So it's, from an Australian perspective, we haven't just washed our hands and run away from it. We know there's other stuff that's carrying on with it. But yeah, really excited and look forward to the facility opening.
Meanwhile, BCN News understands that the rubbish dump at Tawhalalo in Lofi South is currently closed for dumping rubbish. According to the Environment Department, there is only one rubbish dump currently operating, which is located in Vaya, opposite the Nonu farm. The Niue Public Service Commission has opened up for applications of interest for the role of Commissioner of the Niue Public Service. The notice was issued yesterday by the Niue Public Service Commission, inviting interested and suitably qualified persons to apply for the role. Values of transparency and accountability were highlighted for this role. The Niue Public Service Commission has general oversight and control of the public service and its management, and is responsible for reviewing the efficiency, effectiveness, and economy of all departments and offices of the executive government. The Commission strives to recruit, develop, manage, and retain the best human resources available to deliver quality government services. The team is committed to transparency and accountability to make a difference and strive to provide essential services and shape policies that positively impact the people of Niue. Requirements for all interested applications must include a curriculum vitae and a cover letter detailing a vision for the public service aligned to the Niue Public Service values. Addressed to the Director of the Secretariat of the Niue Public Service Commission. Applications close on Monday, 7th of August 2023 at 3 p.m. Late applications are not accepted. For more information, contact the Office of the Niue Public Service Commission Secretariat upon request. A special workshop took place earlier this morning at the Paliasi Hall, conducted by Reverend John Talangi, on raising awareness on alcohol abuse and smoking. Today's workshop was targeted to the Year 6 and through to the Year 13 school students, aiming to inform and educate young people on the implications of alcohol consumption and smoking. Here's more on this story. The workshop aims to educate and update participants on the new findings concerning alcohol abuse and smoking cigarettes, the dangers it poses to the public, and the extent of damage it can cause to the community. Another workshop for the open youth and community will take place tomorrow from 8:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon at Paliasi Hall. Key speeches will include Niue Public Health, Meteorological Services, Niue Police, National Disaster Management Office, and the Niue Youth President. The workshop offers important information on looking after health and breaking free from addiction to alcohol and smoke. Niue is sending a team to compete in the 17th Pacific Games 2023, taking place in Solomon Islands in November this year. 4 sports codes have been confirmed to represent the team in the Games. Here's more on this story. According to Niue Island Sports and Commonwealth Games Association NISCA Vice President Tony Edwards, Niue's team have confirmed the following sports codes who will be going to the games, including netball, touch rugby, powerlifting and weightlifting. The only 2 sports yet to be confirmed include boxing and athletics. The chef de mission for Niue's team is NISCA's Secretary General Sydney Louis. The 17th Pacific Games, also known as the 2023 Pacific Games and Seoul 2023, is hosted by Solomon Islands from the 19th of November until the 2nd of December this year. 2 student athletes from Niue High School, Tangavaitoa Tukuitonga and Macfitu Tukuni, representing Niue, have departed the island on Monday this week to compete in the Trinbago 2023 7th Commonwealth Youth Games taking place next month in the Caribbean. Although there was some confusion with the locals about where the games were being held, some saying that it was being held in Spain, which is incorrect, because Spain is not part of the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth Youth Games will take place from the 4th to the 11th of August next month in Trinidad and Tobago, including the town of Port of Spain. Here's more on this story. A beautiful day welcomed a Lofi South Annual Village Show Day last Saturday. A great number of tourists and locals attended the show day for this year. The usual food stalls, agricultural produce, and arts and handcrafts were on display. But what was evidently different from the show day so far was the turnout of people. BCN cameras were able to capture some of the highlights of the day.
Fia meu lioli hawa mui, fia meu lioli fok, ke rebe ki hawa mam. Kia monue na wena yo.
Before we end our news bulletin for tonight, tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. until 2:30 p.m. will be the National Workshop on Alcohol and Smoke-Free with Reverend John Talangi. It is open to the youth and community, which will be taking place at the Paliasi Hall. And that is our news bulletin for tonight. Join us again next week, Tuesday, for our Wangahau Niue Bulletin. I'm Soraya Mangala. Have a good night.